Good morning. I'm Reverend Kathy. Welcome to Unity North Spiritual Center here in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. And happy Father's Day, everyone. So we are an inclusive community. We welcome and accept all people. And whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual path, you're always welcome here at Unity. We're glad you're with us today. We're also part of a greater worldwide unity movement, the publishers of the Daily Word magazine, and we've been holding 136 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the Unity movement. So prayer is the heart and soul of unity. And our prayer chaplain today is Noel. Thank you. I was doing 2 Sundays at a time, so I forgot. Anyway, so Noel will be available. He's here in person, so you can ask him for prayer. Or if you're online, you can give him a call and he'll call you back within the first hour. So thank you, Noel. And our healing facilitator today is Susan. I don't see her here yet. So when she does get here, if you know after, just to meet her by the fountain. Here she comes. So Susan's our healing facilitator today. She'll meet you by the fountain after service. Thank you. All right. And now I invite you to speak our vision and mission with me. Together. Centered in prayer, we create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And our mission is celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, serving community. And just as always, note the values at the bottom, our core foundational beliefs here at Unity North. And I invite you now to stand for our opening song.
If you are searching, come on in. We're all on this journey that starts within. If you've got a burden, come lay it on down. Raise up your voices as we gather around. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are joyful or you're concerned, come share your story. The chalice flame burns. If your heart is broken, you've been disowned, come join our circle and turn off your phone. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are running, you've got the right to seek sanctuary, guided by the light. If you hear that calling, come join the fight, marching for justice candles lit in the night. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. Oh, you are welcome here. Oh, you are welcome here.
So I didn't say before, but we are happy to have Judy Vinar with us today as our musician. Thank you, Judy. And our production team is Brandy and Nancy. There they are. And we welcome Howard as our worship assistant.
Good morning. Once again, I'd just like to let you know that Reverend Kathy and I are doing everything we can to absorb all the tree and grass pollen so you don't have to. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's take a moment to acknowledge each other. We've been welcomed as a whole, and now we recognize each other as individuals. So if you'd like to say hello, wave at the camera, nod to somebody across the aisle from you. If you are new here in person today and you have any questions about the service or unity, be sure to see one of us, the ushers, Reverend Kathy or myself, after service, and we can get your questions answered. If you're online and you have any questions, be sure to put your question in the chat. It'll be sent right here. It'll be kept confidential, and we'll get back to you with the information that you seek. So we are all blessed by each other's presence, and we are right here, right now. So like I said, we've been welcomed now. We've been greeted as individuals. We are in each other's presence. We know where we are, and that this place where we're at is part of a worldwide unity movement. And we know that prayer is the heart and soul of unity. So let's move into our time of prayer. If I'm feeling uncertain or conflicted, I take it as a sign to move the focus from the thoughts of my mind to the wisdom of my heart. Moving to my heart, I see a light within myself starting to glow, and I offer prayers of gratitude. I can disagree with a friend, neighbor, or loved one, and we don't become enemies. For this, I send prayers of peace. I allow the glow to continue to grow within me, strengthened with prayers of courage, awe, and wonder. I treat everyone, regardless of the situation, circumstance, with respect, kindness, and love. And I do this knowing, as I do this, I treat myself with respect, kindness, and love. And for this, I offer prayers of humility and grace. Now, if you'd like, you may close your eyes as we release these prayers in silence. I am healed and strong, healthy and whole in my body and in my soul. Let's repeat that. I am healed and strong, healthy and whole in my body and in my soul. And one more time. I am healed and strong, healthy and whole in my body and in my soul. Now I'd like to share the daily word. Blessings for fathers. I celebrate fatherhood and bless all fathers today. Today I bless my father and give thanks for the part he played in my life. I also bless those who showed me fatherly love, who taught and guided me, who led by example by demonstrating the divine attributes of strength and wisdom. The love and support I received from all the father figures of my life helped me become the person I am today. I am grateful for these special ones who saw my potential and encouraged me to reach high and pursue my dreams. I am also thankful to them for the encouragement they provided during times of disappointment and discouragement. I bless the world's fathers and pray they know the support and guidance they have so lovingly shared with me. From Proverbs chapter 20, verse 7, the righteous walk in integrity. Happy are the children who follow them. The daily word is blessings for fathers.
My body, my soul, a part of a perfect whole. My heart and my hands, serving a sacred plan. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. My thoughts and my mind belong to eternal time. My words and my song, you're writing them all along. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you.
I invite you to sit back and close your eyes for meditation. Let's take several deep breaths. Allow me to speak the words for you, taking them in as your own. As I relax, I know I am now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. Let's take another deep breath, let it go, releasing all tension, any cares or concerns. Breathing in peace. At 3:24 a.m. Central Time this morning, the summer solstice occurred, marking the first day of summer, the longest day of the year. So we remember to enjoy this long, special, beautiful day. It is also Father's Day, which is our focus today. I know that God is omnipresent, everywhere present. And I feel this Divine Father within me now. This is the inner strength which protects and takes care of me. And I take a moment to reflect upon my own Father, no matter what my relationship with him is or was. By his very presence and his choices upon the earth, my being here in this time and place is because of him. So I thank him for his part in my life. If my relationship with him has been a good, loving one, I feel deep gratitude for his many gifts. Or if my relationship with Father was more wounding in this moment, I still give thanks for whatever he gave me that helped contribute to who I am today. I feel grateful for the good that has come forth. I bless him. I forgive and release him. And I feel his forgiveness wherever it might be needed. I feel his love. And I think of all who have nurtured me, taught me, mentored me, protected me throughout my life. Whether they were in male or female form, those expressions of Father, and I bless them. I take a moment in the silence to send a blessing of love and peace to my own earthly Father, wherever he is, on this side or the other side of life, and or to those father figures in my life who have nurtured and blessed me. I send blessings of love and peace in the silence. I think about all of the fathers everywhere, all around the planet, those who are fathering. I feel the fatherhood of humankind, an expression of the Divine Father. For the presence of strength and love, of nurturing and wisdom, of courage, all those traits we associate with Father. All of that within, and even more than that, the pure omnipresence of being. For that I am grateful. I say thank you, God, for fathers everywhere, for the fatherhood in each one of us and all of humankind. Thank you for the Divine Father, the omnipresence, the omnipotence, the omniscience of life. Thank you, for I am lifted up, I am nurtured, I am protected, and I am at peace. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
You know there's a light that closed by the front door. Don't forget the keys under the mat. When childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind. Go to church 'cause your mama says to. Visit Grandpa every chance that you can. It won't be a waste of time. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you've got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge, a chip, or here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Know the difference between sleeping with someone and sleeping with someone you love. I love you is no pickup line. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you've got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. When it's hot, eat a root beer popsicle, shut off the AC and roll the windows down. Let that summer sunshine. Always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted the life this gives you. When you get where you're going, turn back around. Help the next one in line. Always stay humble and kind.
Beautiful, Judy. Thank you. Well, Father's Day. Whoa. Sorry. Got it? Yep. Father's Day began because Mrs. John Bruce Dodd sought to honor her father, who sacrificed and worked to raise 6 children. Her dad, William Smart, was left with children ages 3 to 16 years old when his wife died. And he deserved a special day too, as mothers had, she decided, and she was going to do something about it. So in 1910, she spoke to the Spokane Ministerial Alliance to present her idea, and on June 19th, the first Father's Day was celebrated. Local newspapers publicized the new holiday. Stores featured gifts appropriate for Father. Young men wore roses to church that day, a red rose for a living father or a white rose in memory of a deceased father. As you can see, we have red and white roses today. And after service, feel free to come and take one. They may not last till next week, so take one with you, whichever color you'd like. And I might mention too, right after service, after the peace song, Judy has to run off to do another gig very quickly to make it on time. So she's going to pack up right after the peace song and We're just letting you know ahead of time because she'll be doing that while we're in just after when we're ending up. So anyway, the roses, I thought that was a great idea. The red for the living Father and the white to bless those who've passed on. Mrs. Dodd spent the day in and out of her horse-drawn carriage as she distributed gifts to fathers, to shut-in fathers, that first Father's Day. And by the time her own father died in 1919, the day his daughter started in his honor was celebrated throughout the whole United States. By 1922, it was a nationwide observance in the US and widely celebrated in Canada. You know, isn't it amazing what one person can do with intention and all that passion? Humorist Mike Dugan said, "I've mixed emotions when I receive Father's Day gifts. I'm glad my children remember me, but I can't for the life of me believe they actually think I dress that way." Well, today we honor fathers, and I'd like to talk about our Divine Father, our earthly Father, and the Father within. Masculine characteristics are ascribed to God the Father in Scripture. He's usually defined as dominant, powerful, fatherly, passionate, those whose ways are too high for his children to understand. This Father God often takes an active interest in human affairs in the way a father would take an interest in his children who are dependent on him. And as a father, he will respond to humanity, his children, acting in their best interest. Many people believe they can communicate with him through prayer and improve their relationship with him. At times it's also expected God may punish those who err, like a father punishes his children, though in unity we do not subscribe to a punishing God. The Bible reveals God as the Lord of the universe and calls him Father in both Old and New Testaments. He's the Father and Lord of creation. Finally, God the Father is also viewed as immense, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, with infinite power and charity that goes beyond human understanding. For instance, after completing his monumental work, Summa Theologica, St. Thomas Aquinas concluded he had not yet even begun to understand God the Father. The Gospel of Mark records Jesus used the term Abba when praying to God the Father, and Abba is a more intimate term for father, similar to daddy or papa. So we all need a caring human father or an equivalent as early as possible in our lives to help us understand what God the Father is like. Remote, indifferent, unavailable human fathers sometimes can lead us to believe God also is detached, unconcerned, and involved in the daily cares of our world. I never doubted my father's love for me. It was not so much really what he said, but his actions that told me this. He loved my mom. He worked hard to provide for our family. He was honest in all things, and he loved something beyond himself. He also owned an architectural hardware company in Salt Lake City, Utah, and he furnished all of the hardware on a number of the buildings in Utah, including buildings outside of the state, like the Mormon Temple in Washington, D.C., some of the other ones around. He was not Mormon, but he did a lot of business with them living there. And he also did the hardware for the original MGM Hotel in Reno. And after the fire there that burned it down, my brother continued working with him. And after my father passed, my brother furnished all of the hardware on the current rebuilt MGM in Las Vegas. My brother went on and formed his own business that was sort of an offshoot of hardware and doors after my father passed. And he went in as an independent person to bid the MGM. It was the largest building job in the country up to that point. And he went in as an independent with all these other big companies to bid the job. And he said he felt my father's presence with him at the table. And he did get the job. And it gave him a foot through the door. In the door of Vegas, he ended up furnishing a lot of the hardware to many of the casinos and hotels. And it was a godsend for him because he had a large family he had to help. So my dad was a Mason, and he called God the great architect of the universe. We often take our dad's love for granted, especially as we grow from early childhood when daddy may seem perfect, into our teen years when his intelligence is doubtful and we wonder if we're really related. Mark Twain said, "When I was a boy of 14, my father was ignorant. I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years." Well, Mary Loudermilk writes, fathers come in all shapes and sizes. Some have large, booming laughs and a story to tell. Others are quiet and introspective. Many dads can fix almost anything with duct tape or a coat hanger. Others aren't sure which end of the hammer should hit the nail. Regardless of their abilities, God has placed them in our lives as authority figures and guides to help us mature into responsible adults. Unfortunately, not every child has had the privilege of growing up in a home with a loving father. Those of us who did are blessed. If you are one of those who did not, this day can be one in which to reflect instead on the love of the divine Father of all. Most of us know the familiar parable of the prodigal son found in Luke 15. You know, the story has three main characters: the father, the son, the older son who stays at home, and the younger son who takes his inheritance early, goes off to a far land, and loses it all in wild living. And he finally comes to himself and decides that the poor people, and by then he's become poor himself, that his servants in his father's home fared better. And so he decides to go back home and seek his father's forgiveness. And on the way back, he's rehearsing, saying, "Father, I have sinned before heaven against you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Please give me a job as your hired servant." But he doesn't even have to say that, because he doesn't get all the way when his father sees him in advance and feels only love and compassion and runs out and embraces him, hugs him, and kisses him. And the thing is, I wonder how many days his father had walked the property and perhaps looked out and hoped for the sight of his wayward son. He'd probably planned it in his mind long ago, at least hoped so. And he did not meet the son with anger or an accusing, "I told you so." Instead, he called for the servants to prepare a party. He put a cloak on him and rings on his fingers, and he did not condone his reckless actions, but his love never wavered. He restored him to his place in the family. So fathers are compassionate. An anonymous humorist wrote, "My father would not have been particularly interested in a book about fathering, although he did like to read. And one day when he was reading in the living room, my father and I decided we could play basketball without breaking anything. When I took a shot that redesigned the glass table, my mother came in with a stick and said, 'So help me, I'll bust you in half.' Without lifting his head from his book, my father said, 'Why would you want twice as many?'" Well, today on Father's Day, many will be blessed to spend time with their dads, or many dads with their children, and others will simply remember I always think of Ansel Adams, famous photographer, in regard to his father. Um, he so honored him. Ansel was a really fidgety child. He had difficulty adjusting to any traditional schooling. His father decided to teach him at home, and the next years were very fruitful. And learning experiences were always tapped into his young boy's intrinsic interests, and ranged from playing the piano to visiting an exposition. And years later, after he had become internationally known for his creative photography, Adams paid tribute to the courage of a father who was willing to take risks, to listen to that different drummer, unique to each child. And in his autobiography, Adams wrote, "I am certain he established the positive direction of my life that otherwise, given my innate hyperactivity, could have been confused and catastrophic. I trace who I am and the direction of my development to those years of growing up in our house on the dunes, propelled especially by an internal spark tenderly kept alive and glowing by my father." So fathers are not only compassionate, they are teachers and risk takers. A young successful attorney said, "The greatest gift I ever received was a gift I got one Christmas when my dad gave me a small box. Inside was a note saying, 'Son, this year I will give you 365 hours, an hour every day after dinner. It's yours. We'll talk about what you want to talk about. We'll go where you want to go, play what you want to play. It will be your hour.' My dad not only kept his promise, but for years he renewed it. And it's the greatest gift I ever had. I am the result of his time." Fathers are generous givers. It's also said fathers are people who give their daughters away to other men who aren't nearly good enough so they can have grandchildren who are smarter than anybody's. A father named Hannock McCarty wrote about one of his experiences of fatherhood. He writes, "Alone in the wheel of light at the dining room table, surrounded by an otherwise darkened house, I sat in tears. Finally, I'd succeeded in getting both kids to bed. A relatively new single parent, I had to be both mom and dad to my two little children. I got them both washed, accompanied by shrieks of delight, crazy running around, laughing and throwing things. More or less calmed down, they lay in their beds, and as I gave each the prescribed 5 minutes of back rubs, then I took my guitar and began the nighttime ritual of folk songs, ending with All the Pretty Little Horses, both kids' favorite. I sang it over and over, gradually reducing the tempo and the volume till they seemed fully engaged in sleep. A recently divorced man with full custody of his children, I was determined to give them as normal and stable a home life as possible. I put on a happy face for them. I kept their activities as close to how they had always been as I could. This nightly ritual was just as it had always been, with the exception their mother was now missing. There, I'd done it again. Another night successfully concluded. I'd risen slowly, gingerly, trying to avoid making even the least sound which might start them up again, asking for more songs and more stories. I tiptoed out of the room. I closed the door part way and went downstairs. Sitting at the dining room table, I slumped in my chair, aware this was the first time since I came home from work I'd been able to just sit down. I had cooked and served and encouraged two little ones to eat. I'd done the dishes while responding to the many requests for attention. I helped my oldest with her second grade homework, appreciated my youngest drawings, and oohed over his elaborate construction of Lego blocks. The bath, the stories, the back rubs, the singing. And now, at long last, a moment for myself. Silence was a relief. Then it all crowded in on me, the fatigue, the weight of the responsibility, the worry about bills I wasn't sure I could pay that month, the endless details of running a house. Only a short time before I had been married and had a partner to share these chores, these bills, these worries. And loneliness. I felt as though I were at the bottom of a great sea of loneliness. It all came together, and I was at once lost, overwhelmed. Unexpected, convulsive sobs overtook me. I sat there silently sobbing. And just then, a pair of little arms went around me, around my middle, and a little face peered up at me. I looked down into my 5-year-old son's sympathetic face. I was embarrassed to be seen crying by my son. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I didn't know you were still awake." I don't know why it is, but so many people apologize when they cry, and I was no exception. "I didn't mean to cry, Ethan. I'm sorry. I'm just a little sad tonight." "It's okay, Daddy. It's okay to cry. You're just a person." I can't express how happy he made me. This little boy, who in the wisdom of innocence gave me permission to cry. He seemed to be saying I didn't always have to be strong, that it was occasionally possible to allow myself to feel weak and let out my feelings. He crept into my lap and we hugged and talked for a while, and I took him up to his bed and tucked him in. Somehow, it was possible for me to get to sleep that night too. Thank you, my son. Fathers are not perfect, but human. Some fear the responsibility. There are 3 men sitting in a waiting room of a hospital. A nurse walks over to the first guy and says, "Congratulations, you're the father of twins." "What a coincidence," he says. "I work for Twin City Federal." A while later, a nurse comes out to congratulate the second man. "You're the proud father of triplets." She tells him, "That's funny," says the new dad. "I work for AAA." The third expectant father jumps up, a look of terror on his face, and runs out of the room. "Sir, where are you going?" the nurse calls out. He yells over his shoulder, "I work for 10,000 Auto Parts." Well, my older brother Keith passed away in 2018. He was an archetypal father. He had 11 children, 5 of his own and 6 stepchildren, 34 grandchildren and 19 great-grandchildren. I used to tell him he'd done more than his share of populating the planet. But his youngest son, Steve, told a story about his dad when he was 12. He said he and his dad were swimming together at the beach, and Steve considered himself a pretty good swimmer. He was quite a ways out in the waves, and suddenly a riptide came, and Steve found himself struggling a bit. And in a moment, his dad was right there, but not to save him. He said to Steve with firmness in his voice, "Swim in now, son." And then my brother continued to swim out further to save someone. Steve had to swim hard, but he made it in, and he saw his dad had saved a man who was now in shock on the sand. Steve said to his dad, "Well, Dad, he should have thanked you." And Keith said, "No, son, that's not what this is about. It's about his life." From that day, 12-year-old Steve saw his dad as his hero, not just because he saved a life, but even more because he had trusted him. He had left his 12-year-old son to swim back because he trusted he would and could with his skills and his good judgment. Fathers give their trust. My sons are both great dads. My oldest son, Chris, cried when his girls were born. They're 3 years apart. And he said each time that it was the most amazing experience of his life. And I think I may have shared this before, but for a while, every time I spoke with my son after the first birth, he would tell me, "Mom, this is the most awesome baby in the world." And one time I was there, he was rocking her and he was gazing into her eyes and he was saying, "Sweetheart, I love you, and you are so not going to date anyone when you grow up." And at that very moment, she began to cry. And he revised it. He said, "Okay, well, you could be 30. And he had to lighten up a bit because she ended up with the same boyfriend from kindergarten through 8th grade. And one day my son was at school, and the boy came up to him and he said, "By the way, I'm Kenna's boyfriend." And my son looked at him and said, "Don't you know about fear of the father?" And the boy said, "No." And my son shrugged his shoulders and says, "Oh, okay, cool," and walked on. Fathers are great protectors. My sister had some letters our father had written to her in her early marriage. She was living in San Francisco, and I was still home with my parents in Salt Lake. And one of those letters was in regard to me when I was 14 years old. My dad wrote, said, "Last night I saved your sister Kathy's life. She was going to bed when she summoned me to her room, where, without hesitation, I fell upon the monster and slayed it. I believe it's called a tarantula or black widow. It was either that or just a pretty shiny spider with a red hourglass on its belly. It was not very big as I think back, maybe just 6 or 7 feet from tip to tip. I fought gallantly with that poor beast, but alas, it was no match for its superb adversary. After all these experiences, I will sleep for many hours so I may meet the morrow with renewed vigor." My mother always said Dad was a frustrated warrior. He did have a wonderful sense of humor. We all have an inner father, and at those times when things don't seem to be working well in our lives, we can call him forth. It's that part of us that is compassionate teacher and risk taker, generous giver, not perfect but human, trusting, and a great protector. Like our earthly father, the father within is courageous, trustworthy, ethical, strong, and can be not only gentle and loving, but a powerful warrior when needed. That father energy is always there for us to call forth. So this day, let us remember our inner father, our earthly father, and our divine father. His love is unconditional and unwavering and eternally welcoming. We need never doubt his love. God bless you. Happy Father's Day.
You're the soul who understands the scars that make me who I am. Through the drifting sands of time, I've got your back and you got mine. If you bear a heavy load, I'll be your wheels, I'll be the road. I'll see us through the thick and thin, for love and loss until the end. 'Cause you carried me with you from the highest of the peaks to the darkness of the blue. I was just too blind to see. Like a lighthouse in a storm, you were always guiding me. Yeah, it's true. You carried me with you. And from the day it all began, yeah, you were there. You took my hand. And when I hurt a bit too deep, you watched me as I fell asleep. And when my head was in the clouds, you found a way to pull me out. You picked my heart up off the ground and showed me love was all around. Yeah, you carried me with you from the highest of the peaks to the darkness of the blue. I was just too blind to see. And like a lighthouse in a storm, you were always guiding me. Yes, it's true. You carried me with you. Oh, we'll be sitting And as the days turn into night, we know how to brave the stormy weather, and we're never giving up without a fight. If you should ever bear a heavy load, I'll be your wheels, I'll be the road, and I'll see us through the thick and thin, full of and lost until the end. 'Cause you carried me with you from the highest of the peaks to the darkness of the blue. I was just too blind to see. Like a lighthouse in a storm, you were always guiding me. Yeah, it's true. You carried me with you. Oh, you carried me with you.
Now it is time to bless our offering. You know, we appreciate everything and everyone, of course. Those who share of their resources and those who share of their time. You know, we are grateful for the ushers and the teachers and the I'll make the snacks next week volunteers. We are all blessed by those who support us with prayer. And we believe that it is a blending of all these gifts that support, strengthen, and keep us Unity North Spiritual Center. So for all these blessings, please join me. Divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
All right, we've got some announcements, some community news we'll go through real quick. As mentioned, Noel Labine is our prayer chaplain today, and Susan Brettschneider is the healing facilitator. 3 tickets left for Mary and Donna's backyard picnic on July 12th. Actually, is that the right date? Okay, July 12th at 1 o'clock, it looks like. For those that are going to parties and stuff, be sure to take lots of pictures and photos and send them to Brandy. She's putting together photo collages of each party. And check out the parties that have already occurred. It's on the TV screen in the narthex, so you can kind of see what we've done so far. All right, we have family table this Thursday at 5 o'clock. Be sure to check with Kathleen if you want to get in on this action. And she also has some exciting news about the open house for Family Promise.
Good morning, everyone. It's almost here, guys. Tuesday is the open house, and I encourage all of you, especially those who maybe not had a tour of the place yet for Family Promise, to come by between 4 and 7 Tuesday evening and tour the Family Promise guest house. Those are 8 apartments that some of us in this room began thinking about 15 plus years ago, and it is coming true. And families move in on the day after the 4th of July. So it's so close, and it is so exciting. So I invite you all, if you haven't signed up, to just come and see this wonderful facility. And that's on Tuesday from 4 to 7.
Thank you, Kathleen. It would be hard to quantify all the effort, hours, and work you put in to get this thing to where it is today. It's simply amazing, your stick-to-itiveness. We appreciate that. All right, second and final class, Life Hacks from the Gospel with Carol Nistern, is this Wednesday at 7 o'clock. As part of celebrating the 35th birthday of Unity North Spiritual Center, be sure to visit the memory table we have set up and bulletin board in the social hall. Jot down old memories, drop off a photo if you have one, and check back as the memories grow. We are planning a special birthday celebration in October, and this will be the last announcement you hear about that. Until next week. New class series in July, Unapologetic Manifestation with Reverend Kathy and Rhonda Italiano. Starts July 19th, and many of you are familiar. We do a lesson here on Sunday, and then a follow-up class for a deeper dive on Wednesday. So this is a, I know I probably won't do it justice, but an extremely well-timed class. The 5 ways to create the life you want: replace old thinking, come to know, deeper meanings of abundance, and learn. So you're replacing old thinking, coming to know different meanings, and learning new tools for spiritual alignment, dismantling unconscious belief systems, and all of that. Reverend Kathy wants to just mention, the greater our attendance, the better. As we help ourselves, we also help the greater consciousness, and it's very timely for the state of the country and the economy that we're in right now. So please keep an eye on that. We'll be using the 6-week study guide at the end of the book. The separate workbook will not be needed. So for all these things, to register for classes, to purchase the book, go to the website. It's all the information is on there. For Life Hacks, because they switched it to a hybrid service, you can come in person Wednesday or log in on Zoom. You just need to let Brandy know if you want to attend in person or on Zoom, so she can send you the appropriate link so that you can join on that. Okay. Please join me in our affirmation prayer. Centered in prayerful intention, we give thanks for an overflowing abundance of spiritual awakening, prosperity, new members, and children for Unity North Spiritual Center. And Reverend Kathy will walk us down the final stretch.
Thank you, Howard. Let's give him a hand. Always great. Okay, thank you too to Brandy and to Nancy. Good job on the sound today and audio. And always, it's wonderful to have you with us. Love your music. Thank you so much, Judy. And we'll bless her on her journey to her next gig, too. All right. And I invite you to stand for our prayer for protection, and we'll do our peace song. Together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our creator, let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joy